for individuals here in this capital and throughout the state of Missouri to better understand what Islam is really about. It's about peace and harmony.
Foundation of Greater St. Louis. We know that when people of different faiths work together on issues of mutual concern, we can accomplish great things. We reject efforts by our state legislators that seek to divide us based on religion, as well as attempts to marginalize our Muslim friends through bills such as H.R. 708 and H.J.R. 31.
We came here in this great country because of persecution, because we could not live in democratic society and to be equal to others. We find it our new home and we appreciate very much. And now let me tell you some similarities with Islamic values and American values. Most sacred principle in Islam is freedom of religion, freedom of speech and expression, and freedom of movement of people and capital, sacredness of life and honor. On the end, Islam is teaching me to respect, help, and love my neighbors. Please do not forbid me to do that.
Clap your hands if you love the Constitution. Many of us came from different nations, and many of us came for different reasons, but one thing that we love about this nation is our right of freedom of religion. Probably the most important amendment or most important right in the American Constitution is the bedrock, the foundation. Why Europeans escaped Europe to come to America to establish a homeland is for that religious freedom. But unfortunately, religious freedom is under threat today. There are some people, some of them may mean well, but a lot of them are motivated by fear, think that we need to curtail that religious freedom for the greater good. Well, we should remind them by the words of who? Benjamin Franklin, who said, those that give up liberties for a little bit of safety deserve neither. You know, I'm paraphrasing. So we should never try to limit people's rights for the greater good or for the security. Do we all want safety and security in America?
Yes.
Do we want America to be safe?
Yes.
Do we want America to be protected?
Yes.
Do we want for our neighbors what we want for ourselves?
Yes.
And do we love other Americans?
Yes.
There's so many people out there that want to tell otherwise about who Muslim Americans are, and they're part of that misinformation. But guess what? Part of the reason they've been allowed to do that is because of our own fault. Muslims in this country for a long time thought, well, we don't have to go out there and brag about who we are or tell people who we are. But in America, you have to share your story. You have to tell your story, because if you don't, somebody else will tell it for you, and they're not going to tell it as well as you do. And a lot of times they'll tell it in a negative way.
You know, over the years, there have been waves of immigration. People have come to this country, and it's one of the wonderful things to look at our history and see the groups of people who have come here over time. In the 19th century, it was the Japanese, the Chinese, the Irish. In the 20th century, early 20th century, it was largely Eastern Europeans. And now we have Hispanics coming to this country, and people from Asia and from the Middle East coming here as Muslims to this country. Now, every time there's been that wave of immigration, there have been problems. As hospitable as this country is, it sometimes lets its fear get the better of itself. It doesn't live up to its own ideals in expressing the international flavor of this country and the strength that we derive from that. So every time there's been that wave of immigration, the immigrants themselves have had to make it happen for themselves. And this is another one of those occasions. This is a time when the Muslim community is stepping up and saying, we want to be part of the process. We're here as Americans. We want to be here and engage ourselves and be your neighbors in this country. Too many people are being dictated to by fear and by misinformation, and I think we're here to correct that today. I think it's a historic day.